Iran just hit one of the most important military installations in the entire state of Israel. Nevatim Airbase, home to Israel's most advanced fighter jets, the base where F-35 stealth fighters operate from, a critical node in Israel's entire air defense network, struck by Iranian missiles as part of a massive wave attack that lit up the skies over Tel Aviv with at least 20 powerful explosions. Fires erupted across multiple locations in the city. Missile debris rained down on central Israel, smashing into buildings and infrastructure. 2 people were injured in Holon. Emergency alerts blasted to every mobile phone in the country. Get to your shelter, stay there, don't move until we tell you. And this happened on the same day Israel quietly admitted to the United States that it's running critically low on the interceptors it needs to stop exactly these kinds of attacks. Iran is hitting the bases that defend Israel at the exact moment Israel is running out of ammunition to defend itself. Tonight on War Clock, I'm breaking down exactly what Iran targeted, why Nevatim Airbase matters, the scale of destruction across Tel Aviv, what the IRGC claimed to shoot down over Iranian airspace, why Israel's interceptor crisis makes every single one of these attacks more dangerous than the last, and what happens when a country's missile shield starts failing against an enemy that has launched 700 missiles and 3,600 drones in 16 days. This is the most critical military development of the entire war. Let's go. The IRGC announced this attack as the 52nd wave of Operation True Promise 4, their name for the retaliatory campaign they've been waging since this war began. 52 waves of attacks in 16 days. That's more than 3 coordinated strike packages per day, every single day, without pause. The operational tempo is unlike anything the modern Middle East has seen. And this wave was specifically designed to do maximum damage to Israel's ability to defend itself. Iranian state media reported that missiles struck targets in what they call the occupied territories, including Nevatim Airbase. Now let me explain why Nevatim is not just another military target. Nevatim is located in the Negev Desert in southern Israel. It is the primary operating base for Israel's F-35I Adir stealth fighter jets, the most advanced combat aircraft in the Israeli Air Force's inventory. These are the jets that have been flying deep into Iranian airspace, striking targets in Tehran, Shiraz, Avaz, and across Iran's western provinces. The F-35s provide Israel with the ability to penetrate Iran's air defense network undetected and deliver precision strikes on the most heavily defended targets in the country. But Nevatim is more than just an F-35 base. It's a critical hub in Israel's integrated air defense architecture. The base houses command and control infrastructure, radar systems, communications equipment, and logistical support for air operations across the entire southern sector. Damaging Nevatim doesn't just destroy aircraft on the ground, it degrades Israel's ability to coordinate the air campaign against Iran and defend its own airspace simultaneously. The IRGC described this attack as retaliation for the killing of workers in Iranian industrial zones, a reference to the civilian casualties caused by Israeli strikes on facilities near or within populated areas. 202 children killed, 223 women killed, 3 pregnant mothers, over 1,400 total dead. Iran is framing every wave of attacks as revenge for those deaths, and each wave is getting more sophisticated. At least 20 powerful explosions were heard across Tel Aviv following the missile strikes. 20. Not in the outskirts, not in rural areas. In Tel Aviv, Israel's largest metropolitan area, home to over 4 million people, the financial and cultural center of the country. Massive fires erupted in multiple locations across the city. CCTV footage and eyewitness videos showed flames leaping from buildings, emergency vehicles racing through streets, and thick smoke rising over residential neighborhoods. In central Israel, falling missile debris caused severe damage to buildings and infrastructure. This is a detail that gets overlooked but is critically important. Even when interceptors successfully destroy an incoming warhead, the debris from both the interceptor and the destroyed missile still falls to the ground. Missile fragments weighing tens or hundreds of kilograms smashing into apartment buildings, roads, parked vehicles, and commercial properties at terminal velocity. Every successful interception still produces a rain of metal shrapnel over populated areas. 2 people were injured in Holon, a city adjacent to Tel Aviv, from exactly this kind of debris impact. The Israeli Air Force confirmed it identified missiles launched from Iran toward Israeli territory. Defense systems were activated to intercept the threats. The Home Front Command issued emergency alerts to mobile phones across affected areas, the distinctive siren and text message that every Israeli has come to dread over these 16 days. The instruction was clear. Quote, "The public is requested to exercise responsibility and act in accordance with the directives. They save lives. One must enter protected spaces upon receiving the alert and remain in them until a new announcement. Enter protected spaces. Remain until further notice." For the people of Tel Aviv and central Israel, this has become a nightly routine. Sirens, explosions, the ground shaking, rushing to bomb shelters, waiting in cramped underground rooms with children crying and elderly struggling to breathe, not knowing whether the next explosion is an interceptor doing its job or a warhead that got through. 3,195 people have been evacuated to Israeli hospitals since the war began. 81 remain hospitalized. 108 wounded admitted in just the last 24 hours alone. But here's what makes tonight's attack fundamentally different from previous waves, and why military analysts across the world are watching this with growing alarm. Israel has told the United States it is running critically low on ballistic missile interceptors. Arrow 2 and Arrow 3, the top-tier systems designed to destroy exactly the kind of missiles Iran launched tonight, are being depleted faster than they can be manufactured. Every interception burns an Arrow interceptor that costs millions of dollars and takes months to produce. Iran has fired approximately 700 missiles since February 28th. Each engagement may require 1, 2, or even multiple interceptors depending on the missile type and trajectory. At this rate, Israel's magazines are approaching empty, and Iran knows this. The timing of the Nevatim strike is not random. Targeting Israel's air defense infrastructure, the bases where radar systems operate, where command and control decisions are made, where the very systems that coordinate interceptions are housed. At the exact moment those systems are running low on ammunition is textbook military strategy. Degrade the defenses, exhaust the interceptors, then strike when the shield is at its weakest. And Iran just introduced the Sejil ballistic missile into the conflict, also on day 16. The Sejil is a solid-fuel missile with a maneuvering re-entry vehicle that performs continuous zigzag maneuvers during its terminal approach. Defense analysts call it the dancing missile because its warhead weaves through the sky in a way that makes it nearly impossible for interceptor systems to calculate a precise point of impact. The only countermeasure is launching multiple interceptors in a grid pattern, which burns through ammunition even faster. So the equation is devastating. Israel has fewer interceptors. Iran is deploying missiles that require more interceptors per engagement. And Iran is simultaneously targeting the bases and infrastructure that operate the defense systems. It's a three-pronged assault on Israel's ability to protect its population, exhaust the ammunition, defeat the technology, and destroy the infrastructure, all at the same time. Mark Kansian, senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, described the situation as, quote, "a race to see whether our stockpiles will run out first, or Iran's missile stockpile will. That race has entered its final stretch. Iran has fired 700 missiles and 3,600 drones. Even rationed stockpiles face depletion within 2 to 4 weeks at this tempo. Israel's interceptor reserves are critically low. Both sides are burning through their arsenals at unsustainable rates, and whichever side runs out first faces catastrophic consequences. If Israel's interceptors run out before Iran's missiles do, Iranian warheads start landing on Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem without any defensive barrier. Residential neighborhoods, commercial districts, hospital complexes, schools that have been converted to shelters. The casualty count would shift from dozens to hundreds, potentially thousands, in a matter of days. If Iran's missiles run out before Israel's interceptors do, Israel's air campaign continues unopposed, while Iran has no offensive capability left. The IRGC's entire deterrent posture collapses. Israel and the U.S. can operate freely over Iranian airspace with nothing to threaten their operations or their populations. The IRGC also claimed during Monday's operations that they shot down 5 U.S.-Israeli drones over several Iranian cities within a 3-hour window using an advanced air defense system. According to Iranian state media, the intercepted aircraft included Hermes UAVs, Orbiter 4 reconnaissance drones, and, most significantly, an MQ-9 Reaper. The MQ-9 Reaper is the U.S. military's most capable armed drone, a remotely piloted aircraft that costs approximately $32 million per unit, carries precision-guided munitions, and operates at altitudes above 25,000 feet for surveillance and strike missions. If Iran genuinely shot down an MQ-9 Reaper, that's a significant intelligence and financial loss for the United States. The Reaper's advanced sensors and communications equipment could potentially be exploited if recovered, similar to when Iran captured a U.S. RQ-170 Sentinel stealth drone in 2011 and reverse-engineered its technology. However, IRGC claims about shooting down enemy aircraft should be treated with caution. All parties in this conflict have exaggerated their defensive capabilities for propaganda purposes. Iran's state-run broadcaster Press TV also reported that several drones were launched from Iran toward U.S.-Israeli bases in the region. This aligns with the broader IRGC strategy of simultaneous multi-directional attacks, hitting Israel from the east with ballistic missiles while launching drone swarms against U.S. and Israeli positions across the Gulf. The 54th wave, which happened just hours after the 52nd wave that hit Nevatim, included strikes against the U.S. Al-Dhafra Airbase in the UAE with 10 missiles and drones. CENTCOM has been fighting back with overwhelming force. Since the war began, U.S. forces have destroyed over 2,000 targets in Iran, sunk 19 Iranian ships, and destroyed 1 submarine. Israel has struck more than 200 targets in just the last 24 hours, hitting ballistic missile production facilities, air defense command centers, IRGC headquarters, and weapons factories. Israel has killed multiple senior IRGC commanders: Brigadier General Abdullah Jalali Nassab, IRGC Chief of Staff Abdul Rahim Mousavi, Defense Minister Aziz Nasirzadeh, and IRGC Commander-in-Chief Mohammad Pakpour. The leadership decapitation campaign is systematic and relentless. But none of that changes the math at Nevatim Airbase tonight. The fires from the Iranian missile strike are burning. The F-35 base, Israel's most valuable air asset, has been targeted. The interceptor magazines are critically low, and the IRGC has already announced its next wave of operations. Israel approved a 2.6 billion shekel emergency defense budget, roughly $700 million, for urgent weapons procurement. They're buying everything they can get, but interceptors take months to manufacture. Production lines at Raytheon and Israel Aerospace Industries are already running at maximum capacity. You can't speed up physics. You can't accelerate the engineering timeline. The missiles Israel needs to survive the next 3 weeks don't exist yet. They're still being assembled in factories while Iranian warheads are already in the air. Trump administration officials say they expect the conflict to end within weeks or sooner. Israel told CNN its campaign will continue for at least 3 more weeks. Iran's foreign minister says they never asked for a ceasefire. 5 U.S. allies have refused to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz. Dubai International Airport was shut down by a drone strike this morning. Oil is above $106. The IEA is dumping 412 million barrels of emergency reserves. The Pope demanded a ceasefire, and tonight, 20 explosions over Tel Aviv, fires across the city, debris crashing into buildings, and the base that houses Israel's most advanced fighters under attack. Everything in this war is converging toward a window 3 weeks from now. Israel's target list runs 3 more weeks. Iran's missile stocks at current tempo deplete in roughly the same window. Israel's interceptors may not last that long. Something breaks first. And what breaks first determines whether this war ends with a negotiated settlement or with unintercepted warheads landing on populated cities. The IRGC called this the 52nd wave. There have been 2 more since. The 54th wave hit UAE bases overnight. The 55th could launch at any moment. And every wave that Iran launches brings Israel 1 step closer to the moment when the sirens go off, the interceptors launch, and the magazines come back empty. That's the moment this war changes forever. And based on what happened at Nevatim tonight, that moment is closer than anyone wants to admit. This is War Clock. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Share this video. because the interceptor crisis is the single most important story of this entire war, and nobody is covering it the way it deserves. I'll see you in the next one.